All right, let's take something we do every day without a second thought, typing a command, and peel back the layers to see the incredibly complex conversation that's happening just underneath the surface.
It all kicks off with something super simple, something you've probably done 1,000 times, typing a command into a terminal. In this case, we're connecting to an FTP server. File transfer protocol? It's a classic way to move files around, and it's perfect for showing how a simple request from you starts a whole hidden dialogue. So you hit enter, and you think that's it, right? Nope. That's just the starting gun for this rapid, complex, and totally invisible dialogue between two machines that might be thousands of miles apart.
And this slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? On the left, that's our world, a clean, simple command. On the right, that's the network's world. That's the raw language it speaks, a carefully addressed and structured piece of data. This is where the real story is.
Now, before these two computers can start swapping any real data, they've got to be polite. They can't just start shouting at each other across the internet. They need to do a proper introduction, and that's called a TCP handshake. Seriously, it's just like making a phone call. Your computer sends what's called a SYN packet, basically saying, "Hey, you there?" The server shoots back a SYN ACK, which is like, "Yep, got you, I can hear you." And then your computer sends one final ACK. "Awesome, let's talk." 3 steps and the connection is made. And you might be wondering, okay, but how do we even know all that happened? Well, look right here in the terminal. That little message connected to, that's your proof. That's the handshake coming back and saying, "We are connected, we're good to go." All right, so the line is officially open. Now we get to the good stuff, seeing how our command actually travels across the wire. So the user types ls, which, is just shorthand for list, and hits enter. That's it. That's the question we're asking the server. Hey, what files you got? And boom, here's what that looks like on the network. This is a snapshot of a single packet. And a packet isn't just the letters L and S. Think of it more like a carefully addressed envelope, a tiny chunk of our data all wrapped up and ready for a reliable trip across the internet. Okay, let's break this thing down because this is where it gets really cool. Those source and destination ports, think of them like apartment numbers. They make sure the message gets to the right application on the right computer. Then you've got these flags, PSH and ACK. That's like putting a sticky note on the envelope that says, "Hey, deal with this right away. And by the way, I got your last message." And those sequence numbers, absolutely critical. They're like page numbers in a book, making sure everything can be put back together in the exact right order. So clever. And look at this, here's the server talking back. But notice where it's coming from, port 21. That's the main control port for FTP. So this is a totally different part of the conversation. This is the server managing the traffic itself. When you put them side by side like this, you can really see the dance that's happening. Our computer sends a bigger chunk of data to a specific data port. The server sends these smaller control messages back from the main control port. It's this constant two-way street. Okay. So we've gotten our file list, the job's done, but you can't just ghost the server, right? Just like there was a polite hello, there has to be a polite goodbye to close things out cleanly. And it starts with us, again. The user types quit, the server sees that and says 221 goodbye. It's basically saying, "Roger that, received your request to hang up." But behind the scenes, it's a whole 4-step process. Our PC sends a finish packet, a fin. It's like saying, "I'm done talking." The server says, "Okay, got it," with an ACK. Then, when the server is also ready, it sends its own fin packet, saying, "Okay, I'm done too." And our PC sends one last ACK back, like, "Got it, bye." This just makes sure both sides are totally on the same page and no data gets cut off. So you might be wondering, why all this ceremony? The handshake, the page numbers, the 4-way goodbye, just for a simple file list? Well, it all comes down to one single, incredibly important word: reliability. This is the absolute heart of it. These rules, they're all part of TCP, the Transmission Control Protocol, and they are literally what makes the internet work. That ACK flag is the guarantee your message was received. Those sequence numbers, that's how you know your file will download correctly, not as a jumbled mess. This whole system turns potential chaos into orderly conversation. Think about it, this whole structured dance, the hello, the actual chat, and the goodbye, it's the foundation of trust for everything we do online. It's the promise that what you send is what gets received, every single time. So the next time you click a link or send a message, just think about it for a second. What is your network saying right now? because it's having billions of these little conversations every single second, powering our entire digital world. One polite, super structured, and ridiculously fast conversation at a time.